Hi, everybody. I hope you're here. This is something we're doing new here at Desert Palm Press. And I have Ellen Hoyle is me, and we have Jane Alden with us today. And let's see. So, welcome. Take a seat and enjoy. If you have a question, just type Q in front of it, and we'll see if we can get to it. And what we're doing today is we are breaking all the rules, and we are truly doing this. We're unscripted.
Don't
And
tell
we're
them
going to
that.
see, I was going to say, we haven't practiced anything. We haven't done anything. We don't have any questions ready. We got nothing. So hopefully you'll still enjoy coming and talking to us. So if you have any questions or if you want to just say hello, put it in the comments. And let's see what we got going on Facebook. Let's see. So far we have, let's see, we have Desert Palm Presses here.
Hello.
And as you can see, we're also on YouTube today. So hopefully that'll come across. And for those who are interested, let's see, we have Jane's email address. You can always see Jane. So welcome. And that'll be good. Take a seat and enjoy. Let's see what we got going on here in the comment section. Our comments do not seem to be working properly. Let's see. We're there live. I know Allie Spooner is watching. I just don't understand why we can't see her comments. So as I'm saying, this is a test. We're just doing a test. There's absolutely nothing going on today. So what Desert Palm Press is going to do is we're going to start doing these live broadcasts on a regular basis, semi-regular basis. Every few weeks we'll do something. We'll do a reading. We'll do an author interview. We'll do something. We could just have an author just drop in one moment and that's it. Email address. Let's see. Jane. So what does I don't know why the comments aren't working, so we'll work on that in the meantime. So what we have here is next week we're going to have a very exciting thing. Sunday is our first actual event that'll be going off on Sunday the 20th. And you can see, let's see if we have it here. We will be having, we'll be having, let's see, Jazzy, and we will be having Emily Four, who just is a new author with Desert Palm Press. That's her new book, Just a Birdhouse. Jazzy will be discussing her book, Leveling Up. And in the meantime, we have Jane. So, Jane, what have you been working on lately?
Oh, I've got a mystery going right now.
Oh, yeah? What kind of mystery?
It's based on revenge killings
Those
in
are always fun.
retribution for the Salem witch trials.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Is
It's
that
called
modern or historical?
it's set in 1960 in New York City, and it's the working title is Evil's Echo.
Oh, that's cool. So, how
Yeah.
do we go from, if you don't mind me asking, how do we go from New York City to Salem, Massachusetts?
Well, New York's not that far from Salem, but
Yeah.
a lot of the families that were in Salem, the Salem area, and
Mm-hmm.
um, during the witch trials, were in that New England area. So some of their relatives wound up in New York City, and I won't give away, the
No,
plot.
don't give away the lot.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But in doing my research, Ellen,
Yeah.
for this, I found out that one of my relatives was accused of being a witch during the
Oh,
Salem trial.
shocking.
Yeah, and he was put in prison in Boston. And it was toward the end of all the craziness that went on. And by the time he got accused and put in prison, they were sort of second guessing whether, they should really
Mm-hmm.
be doing this. And so he escaped prison
Yeah.
and they didn't come after him. So, but I found that out when I was writing the book. It was cool.
Oh, that is cool. So, I have a new book that's coming out.
Yeah, tell me about that. What's the title
So
of it?
the title of it is Osprey's Calling, and it
Okay.
should be coming out. I think, what are we in the beginning of March? So figure mid to end of April, beginning of May.
Cool.
I was told a few weeks, but how long a few weeks is relative.
Yeah, it always takes a little bit longer.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen the cover yet. I haven't done the proofreading yet, but it should be interesting. It's a something I've never done before. It's a romance, no drama, and no tropes whatsoever.
Wow.
I know it was hard.
No tropes.
No, not that I can think of. I mean, like there's no age gap. It's not a second chance.
Yeah.
Um, it's not an ice queen, not work related, not not the usual ones. It's
Yeah.
just these two
How
people
much
that
how much of your books and stories are uh personal, are like inspired by your real life?
um I'd say each of them to some extent. Um, the first one was mental illness. We've all been touched by mental illness, I'm sure, in some way or another.
Yeah.
Um, the person I happen to know was bipolar, so that was interesting. The second story was domestic violence.
Yeah.
And, I haven't personally been a victim of domestic violence, but I know people who have.
Yeah.
And we each come out different from that. So that was the interesting dynamic on that one, was to see, everybody goes through the same situations and end up totally different people.
Yeah.
So that was an interesting one to look at. This one though is totally just it's a story about Nicole, who's a wildlife photographer who comes to town, and she left town at the age of 18 after getting thrown out by her parents for being gay. And she comes back to town and she runs into this woman that she happened to be in high school with, but they didn't really know each other. So, like I said, it's not a second chance. There was a little bit of crushing going on, but that was it. So, the people who've read it so far really enjoy it and they really say they like it, but
Good.
we'll see
Has
what
has
happens when
it
it
got
comes out.
a lot of sex? If you ranked from 1 to 10 in the sex, what number would you?
Sex would probably only be about actually, now I don't even remember what I wrote. I would say I would give it a good 4, a 6 for ingenuity.
Ingenuity. Okay. Well, that's
Ingenuity. I'll
interesting.
give it a
That's good
6 for
for you.
ingenuity. It is one of the, I think it's one of the more realistic sex scenes I've ever done.
Okay.
Um, it's, all the foibles that go with it, all the what you call it, the real life moments. Like nobody actually has stuff handy with them. It's always like, here, wait a second while I go get this kind of thing.
Yeah.
Wait while
Wait
I
a
fix my
second.
hair. Wait, I gotta brush my teeth first.
Keep that thought.
It's definitely one of those kind of sex scenes where there's a lot of real life situation happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, we got a bunch of people watching.
Yeah.
Kim Dyke is with us and Sherry Lilville. Shirley, Elena, Mildred.
Cool.
Yeah, we got a bunch of people.
Were you, Ellen Hoyle, everybody, is an award-winning author.
Oh, I know that was a shock. I gotta tell you, so for those of you who don't know, I won the Lesvik Bard Awards this past year. When was
Yeah.
it? Yeah, oh, I hit a button by accident. Um, and it was for general fiction and romance at the same time.
Right.
Because it was the domestic violence one, and it was one of those deals where you're not quite sure where it fits.
Yeah.
So I entered it in both categories to see,
I won both of them.
and won both of them. I didn't think I'd even come in the top 100 on any of them. So, but you've won an award this year too, Jane, haven't
Yeah,
you?
I won a Goldie this year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was awesome.
It is awesome.
So
Yeah.
tell me about the book that was on.
I'm sorry.
Tell me which book that was on.
Well, that was The Crystal's Curse. That was a mystery set in Egypt, and Donna and I had gone on a riverboat cruise to Egypt right before COVID hit. We were lucky,
Yeah.
and so it was sort of inspired by that. But I had started writing it beforehand. But it's a mystery about a hot archaeologist and her assistant, and they go to Egypt and find Hatshepsut, who was
Yeah.
the only woman pharaoh, who was really a legitimate woman pharaoh, and her money's been lost all these years, so they found her. But so it was The Crystal's Curse.
Sounds
Great.
I love a good historical kind of archaeology story.
Yeah, yeah.
And I love mysteries. I don't know why. I've always been a big mystery fan.
I like writing mysteries because it's like a big puzzle. And I have the experience of writing mysteries. It's almost like writing backwards. I'll be writing and I'll think, I should have really put in this signal or this little clue. So I go back, and it's different for me anyway than writing like a, girl meets girl, girl loses girl, girl gets girl back.
Yeah. I don't know that I even did that in this story. It was sort of like girl finds girl, girl's kind of awkward, and it just moves on from there, and they end up falling in love, as always, right? Otherwise, it wouldn't be a romance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
But,
here's a really exciting thing. This week,
what?
Lee Fitzsimmons, our publisher, at Desert Palm Press, and I have agreed to reissue my first novel.
Oh, cool. Which one was that? I think I vaguely remember it.
Across a Crowded Room, and it's a romance. And I wrote it. It was, my first book ever. And I got lots of critiques that it ended too abruptly. That I didn't tie up, all the plot lines and so on. And so I'm rewriting the end of it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and it feels like, completing unfinished business for me. And we're going to do it as a podcast also.
Oh, that'll be cool.
Yeah, I'm going to read the whole thing as a podcast.
Oh, that'll be interesting.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Have you done podcasts before?
No.
Oh, that's a whole new scary thing then, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
That'll be interesting though.
I'm counting on you helping me.
Oh yeah, I'm the new tech guru at Desert Palm Press. Is that it?
Yeah. Yeah.
If I was, we would be able to see comments. I don't know why the comments aren't working, but I do know that people are watching. So Kim Dyke wishes you congratulations on your award. Do you know Kim?
You said you might read us some of your.
Oh yeah. I was trying to avoid that, but I could. So the story I was telling you about was about Nicole, and she comes into town. She's a wildlife photographer. She's there to photograph the ospreys and bald eagles that have revisited the North Fork of Long Island in Riverview, New York, which is an imaginary town. Don't anybody ever tell you that it's a real town. It's not. Because there's a town called Riverhead, which is where I live, but it's not the same. It's sort of Riverview's a mishmash of everybody on the North Fork. So she comes to town and she starts setting up to go on her first outing, and that would be chapter 3. So I'm going to read from chapter 3. We'll see how far we get. Now, again, I haven't practiced any of this. I didn't read it beforehand. I haven't read this chapter in like a month. So let's give it a shot. Okay. Chapter 3. Nicole stood by her rented kayak in a gravel parking lot. Her equipment arrived Saturday, and the excitement of starting the project raced through her mind. She was itching to get going. Nicole spent the last week and a half getting familiar with the surrounding area. A good deal had changed over the last few decades. The number of farms that remained seemed more suited to agritourism rather than feeding the population. Vineyards and sod farms, along with urban spread, replaced the potato, duck, and other farms. The change in landscape and loss of trees meant the birds would need to adapt, and so would she. Nicole went to the Jeep and pulled the set of waterproof bags with the camera and lenses in them out and put them on the tailgate. She looked up and let the bit of sunlight that peeked through the clouds warm her face. The wind was calm, though the air was cold, crisp. Plus, the light wasn't too bright. It was perfect weather for shooting pictures. If she got the gentle snow her weather app promised, the resulting aspect would be spectacular. She bent over to arrange the rest of her equipment. Once I get going, I can scope out some of the locations the woman at the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Office told me about. I'm glad they knew the general locations of 2 of the pairs of nesting eagles. Hi. Nicole startled when she heard a young female voice behind her. Nicole felt a familiar tightness in her chest. Still leaning over, she looked under her arm and saw a pair of feet in sneakers behind her. She closed her eyes tight for a second. When she opened them, the shoes were still there. Nicole moved the bundle with her lunch and tried to ignore the girl. But after a moment of awkward silence, the intruder asked, "What are you doing?" Nicole gave into the inevitable conversation and took a deep breath and let it out. "I'm getting ready to head out on the water." She stood up and turned around to see the teenage girl of about 15. The girl's hair was honey blonde, short around her neck, but long towards the top. She was wearing a thick jacket that was open enough to expose a t-shirt with some writing on it that Nicole couldn't make out. Worn jeans and nice sneakers finished the teenager's look. Nicole scanned the area to see who the girl was with, but the parking area was empty. The silence between them grew longer. Nicole ignored the girl and turned back to the Jeep, hoping the girl would leave. She refused to acknowledge her as she pulled out the next piece of equipment. "What's that?" the young girl asked. Nicole let out another deep breath. "It's a tripod." After a few moments of awkward silence, Nicole's anxiety rose. She looked around the park again and then at her watch. "It's Monday morning. Shouldn't you be in school or something?" she asked as she turned around. "Nope, it's teacher's conference day. My aunt is watching me. She had the day off. This way my parents didn't have to take off work." "Maybe you need to go find her." Nicole nervously shifted her weight from one foot to the other. "Nah, I'm good. She went to get us some food. I'm just waiting until she comes back. I saw you over here and got curious. Are you really going out on that thing? Isn't it too cold for that? It's supposed to snow later." "Yes, but I have a lot of gear for that," Nicole said as she turned back on the girl to continue her preparations. "Oh, yeah, what kind? What's in the bag? Can I see it?" "No, I'm trying to work." "Okay, maybe I can help." "I got it, thanks." Nicole reached into the back of the Jeep and pulled a large duffel bag to the edge of the cargo area. She took a large, bright red bundle from it and set it on the side before pushing the bag back inside. Taking a seat on the edge of the Jeep bed, she removed the snow sneakers but left on her thick socks. "Can I at least watch? I promise I won't get in your way. What are you doing? What's that thing?" the girl asked as she pointed to the bundle next to Nicole. Nicole stayed quiet and put her sneakers out of the way in the back of the car. She then unfolded the largest item from the bundle. "Whoa, that's cool. Is that what you're wearing? I've seen some guys over by the ocean wearing something like that when they go surfing when it gets cold. It's a wetsuit, right?" the girl asked, reaching out to touch the material. "Please don't touch it," Nicole said as she pulled it out of the reach. "It's a dry suit." "What does it do?" Nicole opened the long zipper running diagonally along the torso, stood up and stepped inside the suit. She pulled the bottom half up, leaving the top section hanging down around her lips, but knotting the sleeves so they would keep from falling down. She leaned over and reached into the bag, taking out a pair of neoprene gloves and a head cover. Nicole pulled the paddle out of the car and started walking towards the kayak. Will you be able to work in that outfit? It looks a bit uncomfortable. It's fine. Is the paddle heavy? As the girl spent more time hanging around asking more questions, Nicole became more and more uncomfortable. She walked to the boat and took a minute to settle the paddle inside, closing her eyes and trying to relax while she did, stretching her neck from side to side. When she felt more centered, she walked back to the Jeep, opened the equipment bag, and pulled out her camera. Making sure the lens was secure, she double checked that everything was tight before she took the lens cap off. She lifted the camera and looked through the viewfinder, pressing the shutter button halfway and checking the settings that popped up through the viewfinder. She pushed the shutter button all the way down and looked at the image on the LCD screen. She held her hand above it to block out the light. No, that's going to be too much exposure in this light. Nicole played with the settings and took another shot. That should be a start, she smiled with anticipation. Start for what? Nicole startled. You're still here. Geez, that looks impressive. It's huge. The girl leaned forward towards Nicole, getting closer to the camera. Nicole started to say something about the intrusion into her personal space when she heard a woman's voice call out, Riley! Both the girl and Nicole turned at the sound. A brunette woman headed towards them, holding a bag in one hand and a drink tray in the other. I think you've been found. Nicole felt a sense of relief and dread at the same time. Relief that Riley was going to be claimed and dread that a new person was on the scene. Nicole tilted her head. Huh. She looks vaguely familiar. Oh, God, I hope I don't know her. Yeah, guess so, and Riley said as the woman got closer. Hey, Aunt Michelle, I made a new friend. Her name's Nicole. Knew that her name was expected. Nicole. Yeah, Nicole. Right. Riley gave a broad smile. Michelle stopped beside Riley. Definitely something about her. I can't think with this much pressure, though. Nicole noted Michelle was a good 5 inches taller than her. Then again, most people are taller than me. She looked up into eyes the color of jade that reminded her of the North Sea. Her hair was thick, a dark auburn color with a few patches of gray. It fell past her shoulders in shiny waves. Nicole estimated she was probably close to her own age of 49. I must know her from high school. How else would I know her? Nicole held out her hand. Michelle took a hold of it. Hi, Nicole. It's nice to meet you. I'm Michelle Blake. Nicole felt as if her world had narrowed as recognition hit her. Of course she looks familiar. It's Michelle. You know, the Michelle I tutored her when I was like in senior year. I crushed on her the whole time. Michelle's hand was soft, warm, and welcoming. She let go after a few moments, feeling self-conscious that she had held it too long. To avoid direct eye contact with Michelle, Nicole focused on Riley. She could see the family resemblance now. Nicole noticed Michelle's subtle up and down glance. Are you from around here? I swear I know you, but I'm horrible with names. Vermont. Sorry. What are you being sorry for? I'm the one assuming things. I guess not then. I'll let you get to your lunch. Nicole remembered she had all her equipment on and her face flushed. Michelle smiled. Oh, of course, you're busy. I guess you're going out. That should be fun. Cold, but fun. I love your equipment. Your setup looks professional. So we'll let you get to work. Have a nice day, Nicole. I hope we run into you again soon. Sure, thanks. Nicole said. Her mind went blank, though. She stood for a moment and watched them walk away and gave herself a mental kick as she placed her equipment down next to her. I hope I didn't come across too stupid. Well, it's not as if I can help it now, though I'm sure I'm going to spend the rest of the day thinking about it. There's nothing to be done, so I might as well do the job I came here for. Getting out there and working will take my mind off it, maybe. Nicole climbed into the kayak and pushed off. So that's most of chapter 3.
Cool. Very cool.
I hope everybody enjoys it. And I'm looking forward to people's responses when it finally does come out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, it's different for me. So
do you like to write descriptive or dialogue better?
More? I like dialogue better.
Yeah.
I do. I think you know that I don't think it necessarily matters the color of the paint on the wall so much as the emotions that you get from the color on the paint on the wall.
Ah,
Yeah. At least
good
that's the way
point.
I write. Other people write different ways.
Good point. Yeah.
But for me, I'd rather have somebody come in the room and be like, "Oh, look, pink walls." So which do you like? Dialogue or
Well,
description?
both. I really
Yeah.
like both equally.
Yeah. Well, I'm starting to learn to like description. Like the
Yeah.
whole description of the dry suit took a while. That took probably a whole day just to get that right.
I like to think about all the senses, the
Yeah.
five senses. So if the reader were actually there in the room or
Mm-hmm.
in the scene, you know, what would all those five senses be like? The
Yeah.
smell, sound.
I'm starting to learn to do that. I think with the next book that I'm working on that I just started, I'm on like chapter 2. Um, there's a big scene in the second chapter. It's a flashback scene, and I'm trying to think of what the smells and the sounds and what it felt like.
Yeah. You're
So
prolific. Wow. You don't
what?
even,
No, please. This last book took me what, a year and a half. I think I started last December. I
yeah.
want to say. So I went a year, and the one before that took me over a year too. So
I guess time flies when you're in COVID.
yeah. Well, I don't know if I was lucky or not lucky, but I went to the office every day during COVID.
Huh.
Yeah, I work for a vitamin company, so we were technically vital employees the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who knew vitamins were a vital function, but apparently they are.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure your company wants you to think so.
Yeah. They would love me to think that, wouldn't they? It would be nice if they paid me as much as they think that I'm worth, right?
Yeah, I once had a
Yeah.
boss that told me every year at my review time, I really wish we could afford to pay you as much as you deserve.
Wouldn't it be nice if everybody could get paid what they're worth?
Well, he just said it. He didn't do it.
Yeah,
But
of
it,
course
but
not.
it felt good anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nice to be recognized for your hard work. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is, I think that's why authors love reviews so much. It's that little pat on the back that says, "Yeah, we liked your book. We liked all the effort you put into it. It was worth it."
Yeah. How important do you think reviews are? Do you think people read reviews?
Um, I don't know. I mean, I have one. I can't say that. Like, I have one book. My first book is like mixed reviews. The second book got really good reviews. Every once in a while, I get a 1 star from somebody or 2 stars. I don't know why. Usually because they don't understand the point of the story, which is
Well, and
frustrating.
usually when they give you 1 star, they don't comment, so you don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. A couple of people did. They were like, "Wow, these characters are really dysfunctional. I can't believe they actually function in life." And it's like, they're survivors of domestic abuse. They're supposed to be dysfunctional.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, I get reviews like that every once in a while, but I don't see them affecting sales. They both sell equally, so I don't see them affecting sales.
Yeah.
Um, I think it's the description, whether people are enticed by the description of the book. I
Yeah,
think
that
that's
is
the most
important.
important part.
It is important. How important do you think the cover is?
I think the cover is important, but I think each author has their own taste as to what covers they like. I'm more of an abstract person, so there was a big fight to actually have a person on my first book cover because I was like, I don't want anybody to know what the characters look like. I want
Yeah,
them to do it in their mind's eye. So I'm not a big fan of putting pictures of people on my covers.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's a
Now
good point.
watch the next 3 books will have pictures of people on them.
Yeah. Anne
And what do you tend to
McMahon has
like?
done 3 covers for me.
Hmm.
She's wonderful.
Yeah, she is. I think she did the first 2 for me too. I don't know who's doing this one.
Yeah.
I'm sure I was told at some point and I just blanked it out. No. All right. So do you think we're wrapping it up?
I think so. I think we have had
Okay. I think
that.
we've managed to
Ellen
achieve what we
Lyle,
wanted to.
award-winning author with Desert Palm Press.
Yeah.
She's given us a sneak preview of this wonderful book that's coming out.
Yeah.
We're all on the edge of our seats about.
Yeah. And we're going to look forward to doing more of these things with Desert Palm Press on everybody's. Now, if nobody understands what we're doing here, we're actually live streaming on my Facebook page, Jane's Facebook page, my YouTube channel, Desert Palms Press Facebook page. So when we go and do these things, you can look at them. Everybody will post where you can see them. So
Yeah.
it'll be really cool. And if I can figure out why these comments aren't showing up, that'd be even more awesome.
My money is on you to figure it out.
I know. I got a whole forum on Facebook that's going to help me out with that.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for coming by, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.